Okay, so my eyeshadow base is on. I use Lumen eyeshadow base, and as a color base for this look, I am using Revlon Eye Glide, and this one is in Champagne. And I'm placing that all over my lid and slightly into my crease. And I'm using the applicator, which is kind of built in the product. It's kind of one of those twisty products. These shadows that I'm going to use by L'Oreal are extremely pigmented, so there's really no need for a color base to bring out their color. So I'm using a color base really just to control where I place the eyeshadow, because I find that if you place powder eyeshadow on top of cream eyeshadow, it sticks much better and it's much easier to control where exactly you put the eyeshadow. And for a precision freak like me, this means a lot. So for this tutorial, I am using a set of eyeshadows by L'Oreal called Golden Sunrise. This was a limited edition quad from about 2 years ago, but you can still get it on eBay and for just $5, so it's a bargain. At the same time, I'm quite confident that you can actually recreate the exact same look using colors from your collection or from other brands or even L'Oreal, but not just exactly this palette, right? But I do have to say this is really nice, so if you're thinking of getting this, do. It's fantastic. And the first color that I'm going to use is this gold. And I'm placing that all over my lid. Even though these are pigmented eyeshadows, it's perfectly normal to have to go into the shadow many times to get the intensity that you want. It's a very gloomy day here in Poland, in my city, so I'm actually doing this in my camera, using my camera as a mirror, and I've got my window, how would you call them, the blinds up, so everybody in my housing estate can see what I'm doing if they look from my window, and I'm kind of embarrassed. Okay, so that's my base shadow. The second shadow that I'm going to use is this really nice rusty gold eyeshadow, and I'm going to use a doe foot brush, which I have actually abandoned for many months. This is by Polidor, but many companies make an eyeshadow brush which is in this shape. It's a really convenient shape. It's a crease brush, but an alternative to the MAC 222 kind of brush, where it's a fluffy tapered brush, but it works really well. And because it's smaller than a MAC 224 brush or even a 222 brush, it gives me more precision. And since I'm bringing the color really high up, today I want precision, because I want it high but not too high. So this gives me a lot of control. It's a really nice brush. I'm surprised that I haven't used it for so many months, and it's extremely soft as well. And I've used it many times this week, and I've noticed that if you have shadows which aren't very pigmented, this brush makes it easier to get a lot of color intensity from them for some reason. I don't really know why, because it's not particularly dense, but it works really well. Okay, so I'm just going over the same area many times, applying color and blending at the same time. And I'm also bringing the color into my inner corner, just for a little bit of continuation there. Okay, now I actually want to reapply my lid color, so I'm again going for this lid color, because through applying the contour color I might have lost a little bit of its intensity, so I want it to be intense, so I'm reapplying it. Okay, at this point I'm going to go for my highlight color, and this is also a L'Oreal color. This is from a trio that they make. which was designed for Jane Fonda. And it's essentially kind of an off-white color, like a pale cream, but it's got a little bit of gold sheen to it, or even gold shimmer. It's pretty nice, and I find that it's really complements this particular look, because it's not white and completely matte where it would kind of contrast too much with the shimmery eyeshadows in the lid, but at the same time it's not awfully shimmery, so it works really well. Okay, now I'm actually going for a clean blending brush. This is a MAC 217 brush, but any blending brush will do. And I'm kind of blending this color that I've got above my crease into my highlight. So there's no harsh line, but rather a nice kind of subtle transition of colors. And now I'm actually going to reapply a little bit of the color. So once again, this color. Ever so lightly. I'm putting very little pressure on my brush. I've got a hair stuck. To get a very even kind of airbrushed application. Now I'm going for a pointy crease brush. This particular one is by Laura Mercier, but many companies make very similar brushes. And I am going to use the darkest of the colors in this palette. So this really nice kind of golden brown color. Really great. So a little bit on the tip of my brush. And that is going to go exactly in my crease. So kind of in between the rusty gold color and the bright gold color. I'm carefully placing it in my crease exactly where I want it and kind of blending it out at the same time. And by virtue of this being the darkest of the eyeshadows in the palette, by putting it in my crease, I am kind of creating definition. The eye will seem deeper set and more kind of three-dimensional this way. Ideal crease colors are actually matte, but this one works pretty well. Okay, once that's kind of nicely darkened, I'm actually going to use the same color and go very, very near my lash line at the outer corner of my eye. Again, to get the three-dimensional kind of effect of the makeup. And now I'm just going to actually reapply the lightest gold color that I used in my inner corner, just to make sure that it's kind of nice and intense, to make up for anything that I've lost through blending. The dark eyeshadow, we're not really blending, we're kind of applying the darker of the eye colors on. And again, making sure my contour is nice and defined.